All aboard! Today the girls are taking you on a special trip. We're here with a miniature city of Hazleton and the surrounding areas, and we are looking at some model trains. And I am with the founder of the Model Train Society. This is Joe DeLuca. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's the holiday season and people are putting up their train sets, but your train is special because it's here all year long. Why don't you tell everybody about your society?
Well, we began about 22 years ago at the old Holy Trinity School when Father Homer was there, and we've been going ever since. It's become a tradition to open on Thanksgiving right through Christmas to show the public what we're doing, and it's free of charge. Everyone's welcome to come.
And what do you have here? You have several trains surrounding us that we can see, and we came in, I was just in awe. I've never seen so many trains working at one time and such a detailed city.
Well, we spent a great deal of time filling in all the detail, attempting to make it as accurate as possible. We have many things that we have on display here as part of Hazleton, Jim Thorpe, Bethlehem Steel. We have Weatherly. We have Eckley Miners Village. We have many items that we've built by hand, actually.
It really brings you back in time of, you know, when my mom was growing up in the city, when my grandparents were growing up in the city, and it's nice to be able to show my daughter the generations of how our town has progressed.
Well, we're excited because we have been working on this for many years, and like I said, we invite the public in to please come and see what we have on display. The children are very excited when they come here to see the many trains that we have running with the sound system that we have, the bells and the whistles, and they really enjoy themselves.
Well, I know I'm the biggest kid here, so kids of all ages enjoy Christmas, and this is one of the best things that I've seen all season. I am so excited about this. When I was a kid, we had one train that ran around underneath the tree, and it used to take my dad forever to get all the little things lined up and to hook the wires in the transformer, and we were forever trying to fix something because if one little piece of something got on the track, of course the train would stop. So what's the repair like here? You have just how many trains?
Well, we could run 8 trains at one time.
Oh, wow.
And they're all run by remote control, actually. They're all programmed, and each engine has its own chip which accepts the programming. And like I said, it's all run by remote control, and we basically don't have to touch the trains once they're running.
So you've come a long way, baby, from the days when I had the transformer.
You know what? These little homes remind me of the village that my grandmother used to put underneath her tree, and I'm sure some of you at home still do that with the little villages and the fake snow, and then she would have the train going around. So this really reminds me of a large-scale version of what my grandmother used to put underneath her Christmas tree.
Only this is a far more advanced. Basically, most of the buildings that you see here are handmade. They're made from a material called basswood.
Okay.
And the members have worked many hours to produce these buildings. And you could notice that we also have many lights, and they're all handmade, basically.
Now, if you're wondering why Jasmine isn't with us, you know, we didn't want her to break anything. No, for real, she's on a special assignment.
She took the wrong train.
She's on a different assignment, and she's going to be joining us later in the show, talking with kids, right? Are you okay down there? Are you having fun?
Yeah.
What is your experience with looking around the trains? What did you think when we got here?
It was really big.
It's really
It's
big.
the biggest one they ever saw.
It's the biggest one she ever saw. So it must be really exciting for you to bring children in here. And, you know, what are they usually like when they come in and see the trains?
Oh, most of them don't want to leave anymore. We have actually over 1,000 feet of track, so we could continually run trains all day long, and you're always seeing something different.
Oh, wow.
I could just imagine how many don't touches you hear. Don't touch, just look from the parents.
Well, of course, everything is so fragile.
How many visitors have you had? Do you have a special book or something that people sign in? Do you keep track of how many people have seen this?
Yes, basically thousands of people have been here. We have a book where people sign in, and we have a map up front with all little pins in it from our visitors, where they came from. And we've had visitors from Alaska, Hawaii.
I wonder if anyone ever came here from the North Pole.
Oh, I wonder.
We're gonna have to check that out and see if Santa came or any of his elves, because I'm sure he would love to come and see the city and see how lit up is. Maybe he even took a ride on one of these trains.
It's very possible, yes.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the girls. We're ready to take our tour. If you're just joining us, we're here with Joe, and he's taking us on a really nice tour of Greater Hazleton and surrounding areas. And the train was handmade, right?
Yes, it was.
All right, so this is Jim Thorpe, and I was recently in Jim Thorpe and was visiting, we went on a tour with a train ride actually with Santa Claus. So I see some of this looks familiar, and again, some of these are old pieces, some of these are new pieces, correct?
Exactly. Well, you could recognize many of the buildings there, such as the station, the Jersey Central Station.
Right.
And the diner, which is no longer there, but this depicts, like I said, 1945 or so.
Oh my Lord, that was before my time too. So we're 3 generations here and we still don't recognize some of this.
That would be the Asa Packer Mansion right there.
Very nice.
That's somewhere we remember.
Press this little button and you see the man flying his little airplane over there.
He's flying
See that? Flying his airplane?
That
That's adorable.
See? He's flying his little airplane. At one time, this hotel was there. It's called a Hotel Juanita, and it was owned by the Lehigh Valley Railroad. It burnt down many years ago. Unfortunately, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't remember seeing that.
Well, we constructed that just from photographs.
Now, is the train track itself, is that a replication of what the trains were like back then? Because I see of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 tracks here intersecting.
Basically, what happened is this is the Jersey Central Railroad on this side, and on that side of the river was the Lehigh Valley Railroad. See, they were separate railroads. And the station, of course, is a Jersey Central station.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Okay, now the trains up here, we have a lot of trains not in motion.
This is the train yard.
It's called the yards. This is where they construct all the trains, put all the cars together, and get them ready to be moved out. Okay? And this is basically what's called Packerton Yards.
This is really interesting because when we went on the tour, and I don't know if this is the same part, in Jim Thorpe on the train ride, it was nice to be able to see down into...
That's the Lehigh River.
Yeah, the Lehigh Rivers, and there were people hunting at this time of year.
Well,
But
at that
this guy
time-
is boating.
No, actually what they did back then is they moved everything by barge.
Oh, okay.
This is going way back when they used barges to go down the river, and they would actually transport coal all the way to Philadelphia by barge.
Wow.
This is the point I wanted to make was this is the actual ties that we use when we construct our track.
Oh my Lord, they're like so teeny weeny little things. They're like the size of a matchstick.
That's exactly what you see there. But here's the best part. Now here is a spike.
Oh my gosh, I can't even see it. I need my reading glasses. It's like a little splinter.
That little spike is how we put all the track together.
Look at that, Alyssa, look how tiny. So do you use tweezers and all
Yes, we
kinds of
use
little
needle nose pliers to push those spikes in to hold down the track. But all that rail that you see there has been constructed that way.
What section is this are we in now? That seems like we're in mountains and valleys.
Yes, this is a logging area. And you could see up at the top of the mountain where they would cut the trees down and they slide them down into the river.
Okay.
And then into the sawmill where they cut it into lumber. Okay, and this is what's called narrow gauge railroad right here, which they used in the lumber area. It's a much smaller train than a regular train.
Now coming around the bend here, I see some markings on the floor. Oh, and what's that?
Well, we intend to extend the layout out this far. We're going to work on it this coming January. We're going to begin tearing this apart, and the entire layout will all the way come out to here, and it's going to be extended. You could see those bridges have all been handmade. All those sticks have been cut out by hand. All that lumber, all that's been cut out by hand.
This is truly a labor of love. Oh my goodness.
And certainly artistic.
This would be the scrap yard where the scrap engines are taken and they're cut up into pieces. And what they do is they put them into gondola cars and they ship it down to Bethlehem Steel. And it's melted down again and remade into something else. And we're getting into a portion here which is basically Weatherly. And we are reconstructing Weatherly as it was, like I said, back in the 40s.
Hello to all of our Weatherly friends out there.
And we like to construct every building the way it was. The Allen Candy Company was there at the time, and we are presently working on it and adding more and more buildings to it.
Are you looking for any buildings in particular? If anybody out there watching has something that maybe could be advantageous to you to help recreate a town, are there things you're looking for?
Yes, mostly photographs, because most of those buildings are gone. So we would like more photographs, and from the photographs, we could make more buildings.
And from which years? From maybe in the 20s?
Yes, that would be great. Anywhere from the 20s into the 40s, 50s. We could use anything like that, because like I said, most of those buildings are gone.
All right, so if anybody is watching and they have them.
My favorite part, Alyssa, maybe we can go to the drive-in.
Now, which drive-in is this?
It was called a Popular Drive-In. It was outside of Freeland many years ago.
And we're going to show a movie. This is so exciting. Alyssa, you're at the drive-in. How's it feel? Have you ever been to the drive-in?
No.
Never? Well, this is your first time. Look, you would take the car, and there'd be a big, big screen outside, and then had a speaker stand next to it. You would take the speaker and put it on the window in your car and sit in the car and eat all your goodies while you're watching the show. You could go in your pajamas. Isn't that neat? Now we watch a lot of movies at home.
That is really neat.
Right? This is the Griffin Breaker.
Okay.
And what we had to do is construct this just from photographs.
Wow.
So it was difficult, but we got it as close as we can. And we even put in part of the mine shaft over here, as you notice.
that, Alyssa.
You see the mine shaft right there?
I love how you pay attention to the detail, and that is what makes this so exciting and really like you feel like you're there. What is the Driftin, it's the Driftin mine shaft, right?
Yes.
What is it made out of?
That is a material called basswood. It's a very thin wood,
So
and it all had to be cut and painted and weathered to make it look very old.
okay.
Who is the main artist here who builds the buildings? Is every member get together and do it,
Yes,
or
the
is there
members.
one person in particular who's the brains behind the operation?
No, we have many talented men here, and they all work very hard to produce something like that.
A great collaboration of minds, in other words. All right, so moving down from
going
there,
to
we're going to,
Hazleton.
I see a familiar street, Cedar Street.
Cedar Street, and we're beginning here, a portion of Hazleton, and beginning at Cedar Street, and we've tried to reconstruct some of the buildings that were there at that time. If you notice, we have older cars on the street, and at the very end of the street, you notice the street light?
The light just turned green.
They just turned green.
And I noticed the lampposts, they looked different back then, but we're actually putting lampposts in now, similar to how they looked back in the 20s, was it? Or
Well, in the 40s, I'd say, yes, basically. And this would be Pine Street, and we have many buildings here that are recognizable to most of the people in the area.
look at the bus. Do you see how the buses used to be, Alyssa? It's in the front there, the tan and green one. And then going on, notice how the power lines too, they look a lot different.
We also have the power lines overhead going into Wyoming Street.
A lot of these buildings still exist.
Yes, the Marco Bank building is still there. Of course, it's Hayden Tower, now, am I correct? And we had things such as the Leo's Bar, which was right here at the track.
And my H&C coffee, there is the, how you said that you have some of them that are actually dynamic, and that's one
The
of them.
signs actually light up.
And which building is that now? It's across from the Markle building. Is
Yes, that
building
was.
still exist?
Yes, it was the Miners Bank at that time.
Okay. All right, I'm trying to get my bearings here. Now we're on Wyoming Street, and I see a little trolley.
Yes, at that time there was a trolley track running right down the middle of the street.
Yes, that's
You went
so
right
That
up
was
Wyoming.
before my day, but I remember seeing some pictures of that at the in the museums.
And you notice here we also have a photograph of Price's Dairy. At that time they delivered milk by horse and buggy. And we also have that right there, if you notice, right on the street. You see the little horse and buggy on the street there?
So
Yeah.
you made the actual horses.
So we try to construct everything as it was, and you notice Dice Roth's department store there at the corner, and across the street was the Sunray drugstore.
And then finally we have Church Street, which is Route 309. And another, I love this, it's so cute. It looks the same as the Blue Comet Diner.
And I see the Sherwin-Williams building here too with the...
Was the Jerry Woodring hardware store at that time was on the corner of Church and 309. And across, you'll see the Hazleton station, which I'd like to point out because some of the men worked many, many hours to build that. That is a highly detailed building right there with an interior, rooms and people actually on the inside of that. This would be the Hazleton yards here, where again, all the cars are put together on their way out to various points, and all the cars would be taken to other industries from here.
Well, now, how does your society survive? People come here and is there an admission fee or how?
No, we don't believe in charging admission. People come here with many children and they enjoy it, and we're only too happy if they want to give us a donation of some kind. But we put this on for the children basically for Christmas.
Children of all ages, as you could see, we're enjoying, I think, this as much as Alyssa is.
Are you having fun?
Isn't it great? Would you recommend everybody to come and see it, Alyssa? What are your hours of operation here?
Well, we have a list that we have here. It's basically on weekends because, of course, it takes many hours and many people to run the show.
And I'm sure sometimes you're closed down for repairs.
Well, yes, we try to repair things during the week so that we have the show ready for the weekend. This is the facilities at Ashmore, quite extensive at one time. The facilities repaired the engines, and it was located in Stockton. And you could see here that we have a giant roundhouse and the turntable, which actually turned the engines around. And what we could do is, you see that turntable there?
Yeah.
The engine pulls onto that turntable, and that's how he gets into one of those stalls.
There's 940. We're going east right now on 940,
And this
ladies.
was the Jetto number 7 breaker at that time, quite a large facility.
Yeah.
And they moved a lot of coal out of here. We're still now moving towards Eckley. And this would be the Eckley Miners Village right here.
Yeah.
And you can see that all the buildings have been constructed.
Yes.
Very, very difficult job to do because they're all made out of basswood. Every building had to be measured and scaled down, and every window and door has been cut out from wood. And I'd like to point out the fact that this is the Eckley breaker, the real breaker, because we went to the administrator of the museum to get the plans. And this is what the real breaker looks like at that time.
There's a little secret area down here, Alyssa, right?
We made this for the children. It's just at their height so that they could look into this little window and see
Just my height.
you could see the village in there. And of course you'd see the train going by right through the village.
Speaking, we were seeing if Santa was on the train before, because you said earlier that people come from all over to take the train ride. And I believe Jasmine is with some children now, and they're talking about Christmas. So Jasmine, how you doing?
Hey guys, I'm over here at HFA and I am joined by my little friends today, and we are going to quiz them on their Christmas knowledge. Joining me now is Talia. Talia is so excited for this, aren't you? Yeah, she looks excited. All right, let's get started here. I'm going to ask you some questions and let's see exactly how much you know about Christmas time. Question number 1. Talia, tell me, where did your Christmas tree come from?
The Christmas pharmacy.
Okay, the Christmas pharmacy, perfect. Hayden, where did your Christmas tree come from?
The store. I just bought it. It's like white. Mine came from in the basement. My Christmas tree came from my Nana and Papa because they bought us a 12-foot tree last year. A Christmas tree farm.
If you don't have a chimney, how does Santa get in your house?
A door. Through the door. The door.
He goes through the front door.
Where does Santa make all those toys?
At his workshop. His workshop. At his workshop. In his workshop.
What does that workshop look like?
It looks like it looks like it has a big tree, elves, and toys.
Okay.
The door is tiny, and it's really big inside.
Okay. He must have a hard time getting in there.
Yes, he does.
Definitely. Where does Santa make all the toys?
In the North Pole.
And where exactly is the North Pole?
Up north.
And have your parents been naughty or nice this year?
Sometimes naughty and sometimes nice.
Can you explain that a little bit for me?
It's hard to explain. Nice. Nice.
Not naughty?
Nice.
No naughty?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
They are not naughty at all.
What does Santa's belly jiggle like?
It jiggles like a worm. Vibrating. Ho, ho, ho. Like a ball. Like a jingle bell.
Jingle bells.
And who helps Santa wrap all the presents?
His elves. His elves. The elves. The elves.
And how many elves are there?
30.
30? 30 elves, okay. And how many elves are there?
1,000,000.
And finally, what would happen if Rudolph's nose burnt out?
He wouldn't fly? Santa wouldn't ask him to guide his life.
Do you think that they could change the light bulb in his nose?
Maybe. He might just carry a lantern around with him.
They would crash land.
They would crash land. Now, what exactly would that look like?
A big fire on a sleigh.
Do you think they carry a fire extinguisher on that sleigh?
Yes.
So if you need any tips, just come here and ask them. I had a lot of fun here with you guys, and everybody is just gonna love this.
Some interesting facts, Jasmine, that she's learning about what the kids think about Christmas and some other stories that I'm sure Alyssa already knows about, right? Mm-hmm. And so, Joe, this is the final part of the tour here.
Well, we show this because it's so spectacular. You could see how the track graduates and eventually goes higher and higher and higher, which means that we could run our trains completely around this room and end up at the top. We could start here at the bottom and end at the top.
Are there 3 levels I see of train?
It
1,
gradually
2,
goes
3. Oh,
higher
there are
and
4.
higher. It goes completely around the room.
This has been the highlight of my holiday season. I have to thank you again and thank all the members for all the time and dedication that they have making this so much fun. How about you, Alyssa? Did you have lots of fun?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us here on The Girls.